everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cartographers. With you, as always, the real Seabass here, bringing you some premium crypto content. Today we're going to go through the usual, take a look at the market cap, we're going to look at Bitcoin and a little bit of technical analysis. We're also going to look at the Bitcoin shorts and kind of go over what is going on with the short positions and the fact that they are at all-time highs. And finally, we got a little video about Wall Street manipulation and what they are doing to drive the price down so that they can accumulate lower. Well, to get it started, let's go ahead and let's just jump right into it here. Market cap today is at about 108 billion. So definitely a lot lower. We just keep kind of whittling away at that market cap. Everything's pretty red today. I mean, I'm sure all of you probably know this at this point that, we're definitely in a bear market, and I gotta say it's definitely not easy making content in a bear market because I feel like every single episode we're coming at you guys with how the market fell more today, but it is what it is. We're all here because we all believe in this space. I mean, most of the weekends have already been shaken out, the ones that are just here for simply money. Taking a look at Bitcoin here on the 4-hour chart, we're going to notice that the price action, we're kind of holding off on the holding on this support level of about 3,300 roughly. Granted, just because it's supporting doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue to hold. That is just our temporary support until we potentially find new bottoms. Could we go a little bit lower? Yes, definitely. I mean, a lot of people are calling for 3K, 2,500. I mean, potentially even 1,200 if you look at Bitcoin on the logarithmic chart. On the weekly, we do see that the previous high back in 2013 was at about roughly 1,000 to 1,200, and we did find a lot of resistance at the beginning of 2017 at the 1,200 mark. So that very well could be our bottom, guys. So again, I know that's rough, that sucks, but hey, if you're in this market, you know how volatile it is, you know that you can easily swing huge percentage points. So if you're still here, you could probably stomach even a little bit further down at this point. Although we do have a little bit of a bullish case for the fact that we are making higher lows on the RSI. So this is something to definitely keep an eye on. The MACD right now is, we were ticking down for quite some time on the histogram, but now we're kind of neutral, starting to just barely tick up here. Something I want you guys to look at is the Bitcoin shorts. So with the Bitcoin shorts, you'll notice that as of a couple of days ago, we actually hit an all-time high of Bitcoin shorts. Now, why is that important? Well, that's going to be important for a few different things. So first off, it is going to be the fact that that's now a really crowded trade. We've had a bear market now for a better part of a year, and yet we're hitting all-time highs on a particular short trade on one particular asset class. So this means that these guys are starting to become, or the shorts, the bears, they're starting to become a little bit more predictable. Now, I'm sure some of you may know this, but there's something called a short squeeze, where when a trade like this gets extremely crowded, these big money whales who will go bullish during high levels of short trades, where they essentially are buying a ton of Bitcoin with the end goal of stopping out these shorts. So if you're not familiar with how shorts work, essentially when you're shorting a market, your stop loss is essentially buying Bitcoin. So if someone comes in with a huge volume of buy orders and they push the price up suddenly and quickly, well, if you're shorting, then you have a point where you have to pull out of the market, otherwise you're losing money. Now, when you do this, you are actually forced to buy Bitcoin to cover your shorts, which then turns you automatically into a bull, which that's what these bulls are counting on when they do something called a short squeeze, where they know that there's a ton of shorts in the market. They push that price up so that once that price starts to go up, they're using the shorts to their advantage to continuously be pushing the price in an upward direction. So does that make sense? Are you guys still here with me? If just to boil it down, this is something that we want to keep an eye out for, because back in April we had something very similar where we saw a ton of shorts, an all-time high as a matter of fact at that certain point. And then all of a sudden, they just got absolutely destroyed by the bulls, and we had a decent little bull run for the better part of the month. Now, the one thing I wanted to make sure you guys all watch this video, I want you guys to check this out. This is so cool. Whether you like Glenn Beck or not, I'm not necessarily the biggest Glenn Beck fan for a few different reasons, but check this out because this has one of my favorite crypto heads, Tika, which if you're not familiar with Tika, he contributes or writes or whatever he does for Palm Beach Confidential. I believe he actually owns it, but Palm Beach Confidential is like a crypto newsletter for wealthy investors where he basically goes through his picks, why he believes those picks are going to be great in the future, and then he gives everybody a buy up to price. So it worked really well, especially during the bull market. But he's very knowledgeable. He's been in the financial markets for a while, so I know, most of you, when you think crypto gurus, you think it's just somebody that says, buy this, buy that, but he's very smart, very intelligent, been in the market for a while, not just crypto, but general financial markets. So this is him illustrating how Wall Street is essentially manipulating the price of Bitcoin by saying bad things about it. Jamie Dimon talking about how Bitcoin is just a Ponzi scheme. It's a ripoff. He would fire any of his employees. So give this a quick listen. I thought this was really interesting, but check out this full video when you get the chance.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, so unethical.
Right.
Okay, George Soros.
George Soros, in January 24th, price was already down, calls...
So I'm going to stop it right there, guys. You can kind of get the feel of this video. Tika goes through, he breaks down multiple different examples of how Wall Street says one thing and then they do a totally different thing. So if you are long in these markets, or if you believe in these markets, that's probably something you can look to as actually a sign of hope, because if these guys are talking ill about the cryptocurrency markets and then they're turning around and putting their money into it, well, I think we can feel good knowing that we are in the right place. We're putting our money in the right place. And granted, maybe it wasn't the right time, but hey, I think that in life we always need to make sure we're following where the money is going, where the big money is going. And currently, little by little, slowly but surely, it's getting into crypto. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. Please go check out this video. I guarantee you it is a great watch, great listen. It's really short, but make sure you go watch this. It's fantastic. Also, of course, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We'd love to hear your feedback in the comments, or just give us some love. Anything is appreciated. Well, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, this is Crypto Cartographers signing out.